And he decided to offer up a little bit of an illustration to help them to understand how they should best manage their time. And he says, okay, it's time for a quiz. And he took out this large glass jar, 1 gallon jar, and set it on a table in front of him. And he produced about a dozen fist-sized rocks. And he carefully placed those rocks into the jar, one after the other, filling them all the way up until only the lid could be closed, barely. And so he asked the students in this conference, these business students, well, is the jar full? And nearly all of them said, yes, it is full. He said, really? That's when he reached under the table and produced another container filled up. It was a bucket of pea-sized gravel. And he opened up the lid of the jar and began to pour in the gravel. And as he did it, he would start to shake, and the little pea-sized pieces of gravel began to filter down to the empty spaces around the large rocks, and more until he filled it all the way to the top and could barely just close the lid. And he says, is the jar full? This time, one student, already wise to it, said, probably not. And God said, well, good. That's when he reached under the table and he produced a bucket of sand. And he began to dump out sand into this glass jar. And so the sand began to find its place between the spaces of the big rocks and the pea-sized gravel and filled it to the top. And then he asked, is this jar full? And the class said, no. He said, good. Because that's when he grabbed under the table a pitcher of water and he poured it into the jar and filled it to the brim. It was then that he asked the class, what is the point of this illustration? One eager beaver raised his hand quickly and said, well, the point is that no matter how busy your schedule is, if you try really hard, you can fit something more into it. And the guy says, no. The truth of this illustration teaches us this. If you don't put the big rocks in first, you'll never get them in at all.